Hello YouTube. Today we're going to be working on some of my African tanks, specifically this Lake Tanganyika tank behind me, my 75 gallon over here, and then the 55 gallon Lake Tanganyika tank I set up a few weeks ago. I'm going to trim some jungle vala out of here, add it in over there, and then just do some water changes over here. We'll check up on the fry, so stay tuned. I do want to kind of cut the jungle val right here and move all this string in the front over to the 55 gallon Tanganyikan tank, and then you can see it spreading in the back here too, which is going to look really nice. I might finally get some action out of my gold ocellatus. They've been guarding this area for quite a while, and the females have been going in and out of the shell all day long protecting it, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. So with the gold ocellatus, once you see fry coming out of the shell, you do have to remove the fry from the parents or they will get eaten. They are not community spawners like the multi-shell dwellers. So I'll have to keep an eye out for that the next day or two or week or whatever. I would prefer if they spawned in the PVC pipes because it's a lot easier to just pull the end off and remove the parent than trying to get the parent out of the shell. But at this point I would be happy with them spawning just about anywhere. Under the rock would be perfect, but I don't think that's going to happen. And then over here on the 75 gallon mixed African tank, you can see I'm just siphoning the water out of here, so it'll be a little slower process, but easier to multitask and get more tanks done at the same time, empty all of them. There is that rusty female right here who looks like she's about ready to explode, so I might see if I can scoop her out. It would be nice to grow out some of the rusty cichlid fry here. And then speaking of fry, I do have the neolamprologus trets in here. This is a marina breeder box. I didn't save all of them, there's still some down here. They're all hiding now because of the water change. But I can't save all 200 of them because I have no idea what I would do with 200 of these guys. So unfortunately they will probably end up as fish food, but they might make it. So far she's guarding them really well. But I'm going to get in there and see if I can scoop that female out. Okie dokie, I did get the female caught. She's in here. I am siphoning some water down to this 5 gallon down here, where she will live until she spits. I don't strip them, I just let them spit naturally. I could not find my glass scraper, so I'll have to get all this algae the next time. So I'm just waiting for this to fill. We'll get the female moved down there and then I'll check back in with you. Alright, kind of hard to see her. Well, almost impossible. Kind of a pain in the butt to try to see her, to be honest. She wasn't adjusting well with the tank up here in the bare bottom. She was really confused. So I did move the tank down here on the carpet and she's calmed down quite a bit. She's just hiding under this Java moss. She's only going to be in here a day or two. She'll probably spit these tomorrow or the next day. So I'm not going to filter this. I do have an air stone in here that I took out just to film. Hoping we'll be able to see her a little better, but just a couple days in here. The plants also have beneficial bacteria on them, so it's not going to be a problem. Alright, so this should be a pretty quick and easy trim. I'm going to try to cut it around here. This side's a little harder to get into with the top. It's more of a permanent top, so I have to reach in from the right side, but we'll see if I can get to it without chopping any fish in half. Nice handful. This should get me started on that 55-gallon tank, no problem. So I got the front kind of cleared up there, except for the left. I wanted to get that bunch too, but I just couldn't reach. So maybe next time when I take the tops completely off and clean them, I'll get down there and snip that too. So filling her back up with water. Draining the 55-gallon right now, so let's go take a look at that one. Alright, here we are in the 55. You can see they've done some landscaping over here on the right, digging out all these rocks. We got a couple mounds in the front, but everyone's doing really well. I'll probably drop this down about another inch and then I can start planting. Alright, so of course I got distracted by my other tank and ended up dropping this down to about 50%, but whatever, that just means it will be easier to plant. And I'm thinking about doing it right here in kind of this little dead area. I think that's going to be the best spot for it. So I'm going to get those planted and check back in just a few seconds. So here we are. You see I planted some plants on the right of the rocks up on that mound. Hopefully they'll leave that alone. I'm sure they will uproot probably about half of these, but hopefully it'll get established so they can't really uproot it too easily. I wouldn't be surprised if some of it dies back a bit before it starts to take off. It's kind of the normal thing with jungle val. Multis are definitely happy in all these shells. I should have a few batches of new fry coming out pretty soon. Cyprichromis are still growing out, starting to get some spots on them. These are the speckleback MOBA Cyprichromis. Not sure why it's coming in so white. Hopefully it doesn't look like this on video, but on my viewfinder, everything is just super white. Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. I'm really happy with this tank so far. This and that 75-gallon Tanganyikan tank are probably my two favorite tanks right now. Although I guess my crypt tank is pretty nice too. I don't know. That's okay, those are my three favorite tanks. So I did notice something kind of interesting in my crypt tank here. It is kind of thinning out in here. On this side, you used to never be able to see the gravel, but then you come over to the left side, and it's just exploding over here. Super bushy, so I don't know if that has to do with water flow. This side over here is kind of under the return, but I can't imagine that causing any problems. My Nubius is getting nice and big. The Nubius bonsai down here is starting to grow a little bit more too, so that's kind of cool. I just thought it was kind of interesting that it's nice and bushy over here on the left and thinning out over on the right. If you go back and look at older videos of this tank, it's the exact opposite of how it used to be. Alright, the 75 is clearing up a little bit. Well, not really, it's still kind of murky. You can see my Cyprichromis fry are getting pretty big, that's nice. I only have 3 of them. I started off this colony, Cyprichromis utentas, I think with 5. And so this is going to be a slow go with these as far as breeding out a bigger colony. Thought I saw him dart over here. There he is. There he goes under the light. One of these days I need to get some better lighting in this tank so it really shows off their color. You can see, you can't really see the bands on him unless he gets right under the light. This is just a Phoenix Stingray light on a 75-gallon tank, so not the best lighting situation, but you can see it's definitely working as far as growing plants. Still no fry out of the Lelupi here. Probably got all same sex. Maybe one of these days I'll actually have to look up how to sex them. I'm also thinking about changing up this configuration. This is under the 75-gallon Cichlid tank, and I kind of want to take down the 3 10-gallons and do maybe like 140 breeder. Because these just have the long fin white cloud minnows in it. These have the Heterandria formosa, which is that guy there. And then there's also some black tiger batis in here. And then, you know, these are just my grow outs of the Honduran red point and the super red bristlenose plecos. So theoretically, I could probably get away with everything in one tank except for the Honduran red points, and it would just make life so much easier. Alright, and now I'm needing a little help on this BioCube I picked up. This was ran as a saltwater BioCube, and I'm hoping to set it back up as a saltwater BioCube, but as you can see, the stock lighting has been removed. And this is supposed to be really good lighting in here, but I know nothing about it, except that when I plug everything in, only the blue LED bar, factory blue LED bar, turns on. I was told I need some sort of light controller, and the one that was linked to me was $200, which is about 2.5 times what I paid for this tank to begin with. So I'm hoping that that's not accurate. Maybe that's like the high-end, super duper converter that I need. But here's what we're looking at. Hopefully this means something to someone. They're labeled, I'm not sure what that means, FWRBNW and FWCW. So maybe this makes sense to someone. I sure hope it does, because I'd really like to get working on this tank. So if you know anything about this, what I need, let me know in the comments, please. I'd really appreciate it. So that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you had some fun hanging out with me, just doing some general maintenance, which is about all I seem to do these days. Let me know what you think about changing those 3 10-gallons over to maybe 140 breeder or just one bigger tank. I think it would make life easier for me. Also, if you have any experience with the lighting on this BioCube or know anything about it, you recognize it, you know what I need, let me know. Hopefully it's not the $200 converter that was linked to me, because I would probably just end up selling the tank before I bought that. So again, let me know in the comments if you know what I need. Thanks for hanging out. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see everyone Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific on my live stream.